Hi guys, I'm Richard. Welcome to the Skyriver IT, your trusted technology advisor podcast. I have here joined with me today, Rudy Michelon. He's going to give you a quick synopsis of, why we're doing these podcasts and what you can expect in the next few episodes going forward. Rudy?
Hi, I'm Rudy Michelon, CEO of Skyriver IT, and I'm excited to share some industry secrets with you.
All right, so let's dive into it. Today we're tackling a pretty big decision, that can make or break your business's tech foundation. How to choose the right managed service provider, or how other people know it, MSP. Let's start with the basics, right? Rudy, when a business is evaluating MSPs, what are the key qualities they should absolutely prioritize?
I think some of the things that most MSPs are offering really revolves around a given toolkit that they come kind of preloaded, and I call it trying to put a square peg in a round hole sometimes.
Right.
So I think what you want to find is somebody that's going to custom tailor the solutions to your business, as opposed to just trying to jam a square peg in a round hole. The big differentiators for companies like Skyriver IT is that we don't use dispatchers. So you're talking directly to an engineer that knows your company and is going to help you solve your issue. So you don't end up having to explain your issue multiple times. Another thing that's a big differentiator is how they speak to you. So if they're talking to you in plain English, that means they really know what they're talking about and they're not hiding behind technical jargon. That's something you should really look out for, because when they start dropping a lot of technical jargon on you, techno-babble as I call it, it's just another cop-out. It's not being truthful. If they can't explain something to you in plain English, then they're probably learning on the job. So finally, one of the other things that I would insist upon is making sure that they're going to resolve your issues right the first time. So first time resolution. Finding a company that, at least 90% of, the volume that's coming through there is being resolved the first time through, and they're not applying Band-Aids and having to reopen tickets and keep doing the same thing, because that just leads to headaches.
So all this talk about techno-babble and experience from the provider makes me think, why is industry-specific experience so important, and how can companies vet that properly?
So the main reason you want a company that has specific knowledge in your industry is that there's a lot of different ways to skin a cat in this business, and there's a lot of different software solutions out there. If you're a professional services firm, you're an accounting firm, and you're relying on somebody that knows how to apply CCH updates and upgrades, for somebody to learn on the job, it's quite sophisticated. And so you have to make sure you got somebody that knows what they're doing. Same thing goes for machine shops, defense contractors. They might be running some older software for some older equipment that's out there. And you want to make sure that they have the depth of bench to handle all of your requirements, because there might be some Windows XP computers out there that are still running at some of these clients. And then I'd say finally, if you're in the construction business and you're looking for somebody to help you, you have to have somebody that understands the construction business. It leads to a better partnership. They understand your business. They know what you're worried about. They can help solve a lot of your headaches.
Okay, to that opposite effect, as much pros as there are, there's also cons. What are red flags that companies should also be kind of on the lookout for?
Well, when you have that company showing up with their one toolkit, one size fits all, that's a red flag. Mm-hmm. So you want to make sure that they have a lot of professional affiliations, that they're partnering with a lot of different solution providers, and they're not going to just put you into one solution because that's the only relationship they have.
Okay, well, we all know support is a huge part of any MSP relationship. Why does having a call center 24/7 support matter for the business, for better continuity?
Well, there's call centers and then there's call centers, right? So our call center is based in San Marcos, Texas, halfway between San Antonio and Austin. So that's a US-based facility. You're going to be talking to US-based engineers. There's a lot of other solutions out there. You might find an MSP that, outsources its service desk and you'll be talking to India or the Philippines or Vietnam or some other country. And that's fine. Just be aware of where they're sourcing their call center. Since we do work for defense contractors, we have specific requirements that make us use US-based representatives, and so that's what we do.
Sounds great. But it brings me, to this next question. How can businesses evaluate response times, right? Or understand SLAs before signing a contract?
So what I can speak to is our business, and when you call us with an issue, most issues resolve within 20 minutes on a phone call. If your issue isn't time sensitive, then we have an 8-hour service level agreement. So if you email us something, we'll get to it usually within 8 hours. What you might find with other businesses is that they take at least 24 hours to respond to some of your tickets. And when you call, you're talking to a dispatcher as opposed to talking directly to an engineer. And so you find yourself having to explain yourself multiple times over. So you'll first talk to the dispatcher, explain what your issue is. They'll usually put you in touch with a level 1 engineer, which only has a limited skill set. And so maybe that person is good at doing password resets or connecting a printer or a shared drive. But if it steps outside of that, then they have some difficulty. And so you might end up having to explain your issue again to somebody because that issue will get escalated. And so now you've explained your issue 3 times over. You're a little frustrated. And so be careful, when you're looking at service providers to make sure that you have the right service provider in your corner that's going to help you sleep well at night.
All right, so no two businesses are the same. You and I both know that. How important is service flexibility, when working with an MSP?
Well, you want to find an MSP that's going to partner with you and meet you on your terms. And so what we do is we try to understand our clients, understand their industry, and understand how we can best serve them as a trusted technology advisor. When we go into this relationship, we like to think that anything with the power cord, give us a call first. We'll try to resolve that, even if it involves calling other vendors on the back end, because that's where the true value is getting delivered to you. So you don't have to worry about your technology. You have somebody else worrying about that. And then you can focus on the core competencies for your business and leave the technology to the professionals.
So, Rudy, let's talk security to wrap up here. How should businesses assess an MSP's ability to handle compliance requirements and cybersecurity risks?
So most businesses are going to come to the table and they may have some relationships with their vendors that require them to keep a certain level of IT compliance. And those are the things that having the right level of support from your service team, that's where it's a make it or break it scenario. So if you have a lot of people that are junior, that don't understand what the issues are, they're not really going to be able to give you the right kind of advice. So when you bring a company like Skyriver IT on board, you're getting an entire fractional team. That means level 1, level 2, level 3 engineers, and we assign a virtual chief information officer to every account. So that's somebody that you can partner with on things like governance, compliance, and managing that risk that's so important to your business, understanding how the risk applies to your business, and finding different solutions to de-risk the business. Now, not all solutions are going to be things that you can just plug and play. We're dealing with budgets and what different businesses can afford. So custom tailoring those solutions to your budget is something that you should also look for.
Beautiful. With that said, folks, thank you again for tuning into the Skyriver IT, your trusted technology advisor podcast. My name is Richard. Please, follow us on our Instagram, socials. Go ahead and go to that Skyriver IT website, and we'll catch you in the next episode.